Good if we're keeping this. Rakdos, is it Phoenix? Let me pay out the prediction. We can do a league prediction. And it's just awful against mono green. And so I know I was like, and like, so I used to play a ton of mono green in Pioneer before switching to Modern mostly, and back before Storm the Festival was a Grief, interesting. Back before Storm the Festival was a Grief on my top and then Misty on their top. Before Storm the Festival was in the format, like obviously the whole your matchup against mono green with Lotus Field was very back and forth. It was dependent on like how quickly they drew Karn. Did they know to mulligan the Karn game one? But Storm of the Festival makes it so easy to find Karn that I think that dynamic has really changed. Okay, what are we taking here? Probably Lightning Bolt Bauble. They only had one land, so I kind of leave them with the iteration. Take Bauble Ragavan. I don't really care about this Ragavan. My Grief's a 4/3. Yeah, so much Murktide today. It's like more than I've seen maybe ever. Good chance we get to like, kill 2 creatures with this Fury this game. Maybe they drew a Bolt, I guess, but Heat doesn't do it either. I think I'm gonna play the Channeler attack, but I could definitely see holding the Channeler as a red card too. Trith, 12 months, thank you. Oh, they drew Misty. Sorry, I forgot that they drew Misty. I was definitely like very lost in the sauce talking about some topic lately, or some topic. I can't remember which one. Thoughts on Remainder versus Creativity in the format right now? I've always been a huge fan of Remainder. I feel like Creativity is just better Archon deck. I think that the Esper 8th Mage's Touch deck is really, really good. Slept on somewhat. Deck I would recommend to anybody. Creativity may be the better Archon deck, but I feel like it's a conversation at least. Do I want to trade Grief for... Do I want to trade Grief for a Channeler? I kind of don't. I kind of feel like I'm racing. Do you bring some Invasive Surgeries against the Iteration decks, 4-color Murktide? Definitely not 4-color. Definitely not 4-color. I think also not Murktide too, but... I mean, this is our 3rd time playing against Murktide today. We crushed them twice in a row, and then we got hella mana flooded. Like unreal mana flooded for a 18 land deck plus Malakir Rebirth. Deck tech, I think, for David. If you want to post a link in chat, I can take a look. Can't block. I know I can't block, but I also don't want to... No, they can block. They can double block. What are you talking about? I'm confused. White stuff with the 4 months. Thank you. What do you think of do you think this more aggressive version of Murktide makes sense? Currently 7/3. If you're 18 lands, I don't like the Islet. I guess I don't know. Like, what is more aggressive about this? Just one extra 1-mana counterspell. But you said more aggressive. I thought that we were going to be going like really, really different. I would play the 4 Demons over the first Islet and the 18 lands, but I also like would never play the first season Pyromancer over the 4th Murktide Regent or like the first Ledger Shredder either. But like some people really like season Pyromancer. Some people like it more than Shredder. That's fine, but not over the 4th Regent. I think I don't think that makes sense. Every other decision seems totally fine in the main deck. I don't like these Prismari commands very much, though. I think like they mostly only come in against Hammer Time, and there's like better options. Like I would rather have Shattering Spree. I'd rather have more explosives, more dress downs, those kind of cards. Going back to DRC, I guess I don't know. This is I mean, nobody knows how to build Murktide correctly. I'm included in that conversation. But the creature split as soon as Ledger Shredder entered the format, I think broke everybody's brain, my brain included, of course. Okay, just find a red card. There's a red card. Awesome. Yeah, definitely gonna attack with both, so that just the Grief is lethal next turn. So if they have a Murktide, we still win. Yeah, I think the Obstructionist and the Prismari Commander are a little lost in the sauce. I think you have too many sideboard cards for big mana decks. I don't think you need these subtleties if you have like 3 moon effects in the sideboard. I would be interested in a third Hearse. I'd be interested in like a third Flusterstorm for the Cascade decks and Cascade decks and Creativity, although you could consider playing some number of Invasive Surgery because of Creativity. That's something I've been liking, although your Creativity matchup is probably fine as is. I really like to see another Explosives on the board. At least maybe even just 3 over any number of Prismari commands. I think sub is mostly for 4 color. Oh yeah, I forgot that that's like the tech. I mean, I would play the first Narset before the first stub also. You play a deck that has a very bad matchup, do you simply ignore it, let it be, or do you feel your sideboard slots try to beat it? It depends, right? It's just always a question of if you have a really, really bad matchup as like your most this is like a matchup you're expecting to face all the time, why are you playing this deck in the first place? And if there's one bad matchup in a metagame, it's like, do you have and you think that your deck is a good choice despite having one bad matchup, you just have to ask yourself the question, does it increase awesome top deck. Does it increase my win percentage to overcompensate with the sideboard? Is my matchup good when I really respect the sideboard, or is it still bad despite me committing like 6 sideboard slots for the matchup? And you have to ask yourself, even if the matchup is good with these extra 6 sideboard slots, does it increase my overall win percentage? And a lot of times the answer to that question is no, because you lose equity in all your other matchups. But it just depends. You have to ask yourself those questions. What's the idea behind these Kess decks? I've been seeing them on streams, but it doesn't look like it does anything. No, the Kess is garbage. Kess is really cool. It's like a pet card for people. Kess is completely unplayable in Modern. The card is terrible. You don't want to register it if you're trying to win, but it is a good card to stream with because people really like it. What deck is Surgery brought again? It's against Cascade decks and Creativity. I am finally making real deck if Creativity wasn't in the format, I might be playing Spell Piercer Flusterstorm instead in this list. But I really want Invasive Surgery Creativity. Creativity's been really popular in the leagues of Magic Online. It's been really popular in the challenges. I'm starting to view Creativity as a tier 1 modern deck. And I think it's time for people to start sideboarding against it. Any good recommendations for Grixis Death Shadow sideboard against the scam deck? I mean, I don't know if I just play your match. I think I don't think that you need dedicated sideboard cards. Dude, I'm so excited for the new cards. Is Hearse good against scam? It is, yeah, it is. What is it called, scam? I don't know. People just started calling Grief decks with Malakir Rebirth, these kind of effects, scam, and it just caught on. It's just funny. People like it. I like it. But consider Hammer tier 1 deck. Yeah, so up until can you exile for Sorcery? I think the card has to be countered. It never counters it, but you may be able to exile it. Yeah, I guess you get to exile them, but you don't get to counter the initial verdict. Is how I'm interpreting that. What was I saying? What were we talking about? We were talking about something. Yeah, Hammer's definitely a tier 1 deck right now, in my opinion. I just see it all the time, and I think it's very popular. Maybe but Hammer is also definitely a deck that does fall in and out of favor, and sometimes it's not a deck I'd consider tier 1 because it's not as popular. Again, I usually define tier 1 decks as being the format-defining decks that are popular enough that like these are the decks you need to be considering when registering your list for the tournament. Either you want to play one of these, or you want to play a tier 2 deck that is well positioned in the metagame defined by the tier 1 decks. All right, they're Herson. Seems like a good time to dash. I think Abs and Yawgmoth never work. I think Voice is a very good card in this meta. It would be awesome to have it with all the white hate cards for sideboard. I mean, splashing a color in Yawgmoth obviously is in my opinion, a very reasonable thing to try to do. I think it's totally fine to think about splashing a color. I don't think the Voice makes a lot of sense to me. Personally, I think that like I don't know like what you're cutting to make room for it. It's not an Undying creature, and like you need those recursive creatures to have Undying and Yawgmoth. But your Murk. I always like, or I usually like the Murktide matchup as a usually like the Murktide matchup as Yawg. Okay, what are we doing here? I think I'll just start with Iteration. I like starting with Iterations because if they have Flusterstorm, I can pay. If I start with Ragavan, I can't. Starting out MTG paper is wondering the best way to approach investing. I think of building a deck archetype and brew around. I would recommend using a rental service, Corey. I need to make like a video about getting into Magic Online. I was just like Gabby's video carry for so long. But I use Mana Traders. My general understanding is that Card Hoarder is a better service for newer players, and Mana Traders is better for, or you know, is good for longer term. Like I've had my Mana Traders account for more than 3 years, so I have like max benefits on the gold package, which is really good deal. But it just takes 3 years to get up to that really good deal. But both services are really good. I think Card Hoarder also has like more limited availability too. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sponsored by either of them, and I'm not intimately familiar with the pricing. I'm gonna drown this. Still didn't like your tweet. I don't know if I saw it, Donut, but now I'll definitely not like it. I'll dislike it even. Do you not want to be sponsored? Did I ask you? The second one, or sorry, man, I don't think I've ever been reached out to by Card Hoarder. The Mana Traders sponsorship I think was not for me, but I also think that it's like, this is something I've been reflecting on a little bit. I've been thinking about writing some like streamer advice articles, and one of my like biggest pieces of advice is like not taking the first sponsorship opportunity that comes your way. I see this a lot, that people like will like the sponsors are like those very low levels are mostly just like affiliate codes. Affiliate codes that are going to give you like very little income, like not like probably like less than $50 a month for like those like first sponsorships you're offered, and it's just not worth it. I think it's just not worth it to dedicate like the time and energy for like the super small sponsors. I think obviously worth it is something determined by you, but I just think people think that like having a sponsor gives you like a degree of like legitimacy and they're excited for it. But I just think, it's good to wait a lot of the time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it could make sense in my head. And I don't really like know like what Mana Traders like system is now or anything, but like when they first reached out to me, it was just definitely not worth it. And like the second time they reached out to me, I didn't think it was worth it either. And I don't think they've reached out since then. I'm also like not that interested, but we've got other sponsors at this point. So I don't really want to hardcast the Fury into possible counterspell here. I don't even like really need to either, since they we just have flying creatures. If I take Bauble, oh, they're gonna turn off the Delirium on my channeler though, unless I'm able to connive in such a way that they can't, right? They played some Orchestra Brawl. Yeah, I've been playing off stream some. I was out of town all weekend, but I was definitely thinking about the game. Was definitely thinking about it. Okay, so now I have. Yeah, now they shouldn't be able to get me off Delirium because I have enough. Or do I only have 2 sorceries? I have 2 sorceries, but if they get rid of Bauble sorcery, I still have Delirium. Definitely keeping that. I think Wandering from Home could make sense over the islet, or is that not it? I just you need every land untapped. You have lots of card selection and like card advantage in Murktide. I would just play the 4th Steam things. No name 9 months. Thank you. Yeah, I've been really liking the Storybook Brawl. I'm probably not going to play it on stream again for free, just because, you know, I'm a professional Magic streamer. But I was really liking it. I might play some tonight, but I also have a lot on my plate tonight. I'm at this HelloFresh meeting. Thoughts on which decks to consider building in Pioneer? I think red, black, mono green, mono blue, heroic. Any of the Is It variants are good. Sweetie, is that you squeaking doors or is Athena crying?
That's me squeaking doors.
Okay, great, Tom. Are there other videos of Vaki coming out? Probably. I don't know exactly which ones the editors uploaded. There's one on Channel Fireball if you haven't seen it. I also just finished writing a nearly 2,000 word article for it for Channel Fireball, so keep your eyes up for that. Okay, Heat the Shredder. No cards left in their hand, though. Hold on. I need to think a little bit about if I want to evoke the Fury now. I know my top card is Kroxa. My top card is Kroxa, so if my opponent does find Murktide, it's just fine. I win. Yeah, so I think I should just evoke here. Ever played MetaZoo? I haven't, no. I just spend so much time with Magic that it's tough for me to like try to get into another card game in my free time. Like I like to play a lot of like, you know, other video games, a lot of D&D. I like to you know, hang out with Esther, watch TV and stuff. Just like getting into another card game is usually not what I do in my free time, but I have been liking Storybook Brawl. Okay, we win. Thoughts on 1 D&D? We'll see like once the whole thing is out. Oh, right, they... Sorry, for whatever reason I thought they only had 4 mana, like, because this Canal Intertapped. I thought they only had 1 island. But we still went with the Kroxa. Did I watch the new Game of Thrones series premiere? No, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I'm watching Sandman right... Oh, no, we finished Sandman. We finished Sandman last night. It's really good. Yeah, accidental slow roll. They have a take on the new Goyf. I love Urborg Lurgoyf. That card is awesome. That is like my favorite card name in a long time. Let's keep this. I think I'm gonna get Watery Grave. No, I should get Blood Crypt. So if I can draw a Ragavan or Channeler and cast those on turn 2. Yeah, I love Urborg Lurgoyf. Is it going to be playable in a format? I don't know. But I love it. I think we should take both their discard outlets here. Glad to have those invasive surgeries, huh? Could also take it to persist. I guess, you know, this Kroxa is not getting cast until we take that persist. bribe her with peanut butter.
I'm drugging her.
I was just giving her anxiety medicine.
Yeah.
I think Weatherlight is playable in Judsack. I think it's playable in potentially one of the Anvil sacrifice lists with Goblin Engineer and Oni Cult Anvil Cat Oven, but we'll definitely try it. I don't know how high a priority it's going to be. Actually, it might actually be like the first thing we play, because like those first couple days of set release, card availability is really weird on Magic Online. But since like that card is very likely to just be a one of in this deck, I think that it's like probably not that hard to find just one copy of Weatherlight and play it early. I think Bob Enchantment is Pioneer playable. Probably not. Just like the fact that you have to like deal combat damage to your opponent is a big ask. Erdborg Lurgoyf plus Leveler. What's the synergy? Leveler. I don't think Leveler mills you, right? It just okay, can pitch the Fury to the Kroxa to the Fury. Kill both crabs after they block a Ragavan, presumably. Yeah, it's exile, not mill. Izmir, the set seems really weak power level, also compared to Capenna. People say this about every set ever. People said Capenna seems low power level. People said Kamigawa seems low power level. People will say this about any set. But I think this set looks really good so far. I think there's a lot of super exciting cards for Modern. As far as the standard set goes, we haven't seen the whole thing either. There's already like 5 or 6 cards I'm excited to play with, which is we're like not even we're maybe halfway through spoiler season. But in my experience too, I've been doing this a while at this point. Magic players, Modern players, Magic players are incredibly biased towards old cards compared to new cards. Like, people evaluate new cards as being much weaker than they actually are, and they evaluate old cards as being much stronger than they actually are. Which is why people are going nuts for Liliana and Pioneer, when the reality is the card is going to be like, fine. You know what I mean? What cards excite me? I don't know the names of a lot of them. We can go. Let me sideboard and we can maybe go over some. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Surgeries, the Voidwalkers, the Thoughtseizes. I'm going to cut, I think, Kroxa Fury, and then like 2 of these Undying effects. So I'm cutting so many. I think I'm down to like trim. I guess I'm on the play. No, I'm on the draw. I should be playing some Terminates, like 2 Terminates. Cut the Rebirth, maybe. Could cut a Shredder too. We'll cut a Rebirth. Only have 4 groups now. But as far as cards, and we're not even talking about Pioneer playables. Like, really, I'm really excited for Liliana and Pioneer. That might actually be something we do day 1 because we have the cards really easy. But Jaya maybe Pioneer card, but Temporary Lockdown, very interesting new Modern card. Urborg Lurgoyf could be a Modern card, something to consider and start deck building with. Squee, interesting potential Modern card. A bunch of these are also like very borderline, but like these are the ones I'm like actually excited about. The Phoenix Chick I think is really interesting. This is a card that we might be playing with. This new saga I think is very, very exciting. This is like our new Oni Cult Anvil. So much potential. And the Jund Legend that returns lands from graveyard, that was the one down here I really liked. Giora is interesting, probably not that good, but interesting. I feel like there's one card I missed, but I think I have to mulligan this. It's very close. If we draw, I should have cut my pushes. Whoops. Should have cut these pushes. But yeah, I mean, you also have to always have like really realistic expectations too when it comes to these new sets, where it's a standard set. This is not a set that is supposed to be a format-defining set for Modern, and just the fact that we have like a handful of cards already that are exciting, and we're likely to get 1 or 2 more. That's good enough for me. think Astor could be in a Pioneer deck. I don't know what Astor is. Third Pass Saga seems like it'd be good reanimator. Oh, I actually think that's a great idea with Markgrave Persist. Didn't even consider that. Love it. Expect one for Karn. Yeah, people always do this. They're always like, oh, the new Teferi or Karn or whatever is bad, but it's like, I don't know. They're just all blank pieces of cardboard to me. Like, they're just all. The fact that it's a Karn doesn't matter to me at all. The fact that it's like a new Teferi doesn't matter. They're just each their own card. They hope you look into Rogue Tribal deck for Modern. I played Rogues a couple times on stream. The new Karn is bad. I mean, it's bad in Modern. Morality, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. The 2-mana saga that casts Magnum Opus. What? It does what? Can we, can I get some text? But it might have a 1-mana counterspell. It kind of looks like they do. Why does this cast? I mean, it casts. You have to spend mana on it, but it casts Magma Opus. It casts Magma Opus, but for mana. I'll cast Magma Opus for you. He's got to give me 8 mana first. Dude, this card would be so broken if it. This card would be insanely broken. No, but I still like this card a lot. This is like, I think so far this is the card I'm most excited about, just because it has so much potential to like do a lot of different stuff with. But this card is very, very interesting. Very interesting card. I'm mostly excited with it with See the Truth. Not that it necessarily will make See the Truth playable, but like the biggest issue with See the Truth is like it just sucks to have a 2-mana cantrip stuck in your hand, and so like you play it on the first chapter, you cast it from your hand, you get to Impulse, and then you get to mill, maybe mill over Phoenixes, Demon Liches if you're doing that, or you know other cards for value in the graveyard, and then you get to flash it back, draw 3, which is exciting. What's iteration here? I think. You can cast Profane 2 for free. You can't. It's only mana value 1 or... Well, I guess... Yeah, you have to spend mana. And it only casts mana value 1 or 2. It doesn't cast zeros. It doesn't cast Footfalls and, you know, those kind of cards. So my opponent can go for creativity next turn. We have Invasive Surgery for creativity. But they also like we know this, and they've seen Invasive Surgery, so I don't think that they're very likely to. Oh no! What have I done? What have I done? The ice. They just have the ice. What have I done? Fuck. I don't know why I didn't think they could do that. I can drown the Archon. The game's not over. Damn it. Do you think Frantic Inventory would necessitate Snapcaster Mage in blue-white? Those two cards have a lot of tension because you don't want to exile your Frantic Inventories. Or they have some tension. I don't know, people just look for any excuse to play. People look for any excuse to play Snapcaster Mage. So dumb. Here's gonna swamp here. Is Invasive Surgery playable without a deck that can get Delirium easily? I mean, probably not. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to, always tough to talk, chat, and play. It's obvious playable. I'm not sure it's exciting with other variants. Snapcaster's okay. Others aren't playable. What's exciting about this is it's like it cheats on the mana. You know what I mean? It's like what's the super easy card to compare this one to? The one that Mill plays sometimes. That's like 2 mana, Surveil 2, flashback a spell. That card sucks because it's 2 mana plus the spell that you're flashing back. You know, it's just so much. It's that effect is like really weak. No, not as foretold. It's the instant mission briefing. This card, I think, is really comparable to Mission Briefing, where Mission Briefing costs you 2 mana and it's just so slow. It's like just not impactful enough. Like for like that extra 2 mana, like all you get is Surveil 2. When you compare it to this card, instead of just getting a dopey Surveil 2, what you get is that mana back. You play the card for 2 mana, it gives you 2 mana back immediately if you cast something from your hand that costs 2 mana. And then you get value from it later by replaying that spell, milling 4, assuming milling 4s can be good in your deck. This card effectively costs 0 mana if you can cast a 2 mana sorcery with it the turn you play it. It's like a Burning Tree Emissary. Oh yeah, it does seem pretty good with. It does pretty good end mill. Good with like Glimpse. How's Athena feel about her new bed chair? She hates it. It's right there. It's right behind me. She's right here, and she's just sitting in front of me instead of sitting in the new couch. Yeah, and then the fact that you can like if you don't have a card in your hand to cast, you can just read ahead to chapter 2, and then you can mill and you can untap and play something next turn. And if you have something you want to cast immediately, you can just cast it immediately if you want to. And so like the read ahead on the card is very flexible and very interesting. So I think my opponent's gonna main phase Fable, copy this token, and I'll Fatal push the token. Nice op poster, thank you. Okay, I didn't think my opponent was going to... Oh, this is weird. Alright, I think I should go for this. I think I should go block here. Push, Undying Malice my Shredder. Hope to find a spell, of course. This feels really bad. I'm gonna go discard this though. Also seems great with Power Conduit. Yeah, it's probably tough to be playing Power Conduit in a deck like that requires all like mostly instants and sorceries, but you could maybe find room. Yeah, it does seem good in Reanimator too. The fact that it casts Unmarked Grave Persist immediately, can mill you 4. Yeah. They had it. Don't think we're winning that game unless we just connive into a spell there, though. I need to get these pushes out of the deck. It was a mistake to leave them in the first time. 4th Ragavan on the play comes in. 2 Terminates is the number I usually like. We could play the first Fury. We could play the first push. 3rd Terminate. With the first Fury. Could you block a token and push the Fable end of turn? No, Revolt only is your own permanents leaving the battlefield, not your opponent's. Do you consider creativity decks combo decks? Yeah, I would view them as combo control, combo mid-range, probably combo control. Not into Dress Down? I don't know. Dress Down's like fine. Wait, hold on. Did I meant to side up one more push. Okay, we have a push in the deck. These pushes are tough to let go of, huh? I thought I brought out all 3. Yeah, but on Olde 6. What my version of a colorless MH2 evoke elemental do? It would it would destroy all Modern Horizons 2 cards when it enters the battlefield. Evoke a colorless card, and then it has reminder text lands are colorless when it enters the battlefield. Destroy all Modern Horizons 2 cards, and then you're legally allowed to rip them up if you want to. And then you can. What's cool about this card is that you can stack the evoke triggers to where it doesn't destroy itself. It doesn't destroy itself if you stack the evoke triggers correctly. Yeah, the city in the bottom. Instant Eldrazi, so it should be a cast trigger. Fair enough. Good design. sorry, Athena. I think I'll discard out the swamp here. Save the Bauble for next turn. It's the first time Athena's hung out for a long time, but it's just because she hates the rain. Let's keep this Thoughtseize. I think I'll Thoughtseize them. Scalding Tarn on top for them. Bubble's actually probably keepable here. 2 Fables, 1 Creativity, 1 Persist. Okay, I think we just take a Creativity then. They're drawing another Fable too, right? Or... Sorry, I think I saw wrong. They're drawing one of these cards. This is going to be their hand next turn. They're drawing Tarn, yeah. Swordbreak Brawl was fun. I actually played some more off stream. There's a YouTube video of it too if you really want to watch the VOD. No, dude, Athena hates the tiny couch. She is just refusing to use it. Let me see what my top card is. It's going to determine if I want to like connive into it right now or not. I think I need to hold up. I need to hold up Drown. Okay, I know they have Persist, so if they've like drawn a. If they draw a Archon for turn, just like so bad to not have the Drown up, and then I can push this beginning of combat if I want to. I can also save, just hold up mana if they drew creativity, terminate this end of turn, or maybe counter a Fable, but I probably just let a Fable resolve. Expansion Explosion with the gifted sub, thank you. They discarded Persist. So their hand is currently Fable, Mystery card. And then another gifted sub. If that's for deck tech, you can post the link in the chat. Yeah, I think we just let this go. Okay, I'll keep that one. Pretty good draw. Just can block this Shaman token this turn. Lets me hold up the Drown pretty easily. Tarmogoyf is supposed to be the new Dominaria Goyf. Alright, our first Dominaria deck tech. Really the only way to get me to talk about these super early. Violent Tumor is way too much mana. You can't play the card. Itch, thanks so much. Appreciate you. Drizzle 23. Well, let me take this turn real quick. Striped Riverwinder also seems like not good to me at all, where this is a card that like gives your Goyf +1/+1 and does nothing else as far as I can tell, which is just not worth playing as a 4-mana cycler. Especially when you could just play Street Wraith instead. Unless I'm missing some synergy with it, I don't really get it. But I would cut all the Violent Tumors. You can play 1 or 2 Wonders, probably not 3. No Riverwinder. Street Wraith is fine. It's cool that you get double Goyf because you have Boneyard Form 2. Shredder seems like fine for beating Graveyard Hate turns, but it's also like your curve is like kind of high for Shredder. I feel like maybe you probably want to play. Do you have enough black cards for Grief? Oh, you have no black cards besides Grist and Violent Tumor. Grief would be pretty nice in the stack. I don't know if I don't know. I guess if you're playing Street Wraith, you have more black cards. Yeah, play Stitcher Supplier and Grief. I think that's a good direction to go. So something like -4 Riverwinders, +4 Street Wraiths, -2 Violent Tumor. -3 Wonder, +4 Stitcher Supplier, and then maybe you even cut Ledger Shredder and you play Grief too. Well, the Shredder's pretty good with Grief. Yeah, but maybe Legislator's the cut to make room. Okay, we won that match just by playing game 2 really poorly. Currently 6-1 on the day. They're somewhat playable. I wouldn't say that they're just like dead. Haven't cast the card in a while. Either of the cards in a while. What bookkeeping do you do to get better? Do you keep up with win-loss ratio? Maybe take a print of every draft? What more? For me, I just stream my matches, and then people yell at me when I make mistakes, and that helps me get better. So I don't know. I don't usually do much bookkeeping, but I think that like general notes is or maybe even more helpful than this. Oh, the rack. Like just like taking notes on the matches, like what are you losing to, what was bad, what was good, it can be maybe more helpful than win-loss, but win-loss has its merits too. Yeah, but I'm proudly not a spreadsheet nerd. Okay, so the hand is Overgrown Tomb, Swamp, Marshlands, Saga. So this is gonna hit them for some life here. Overgrown Tomb, Swamp, Saga. What's the best meme win con for creativity? It's gotta be the dinosaur, what's the card called? The Dreadmaw? The 6 mana 6/6 trample. Yeah, Colossal Dreadmaw. This card goes infinite with Leyline of Singularity. Ratadranik of Urborg. Other zombies have vigilance whenever another legendary creature you control dies. Create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary as a 2/2. How does this go infinite with Leyline? Leyline says you may begin the game, all non-land permanents are legendary. Okay. Okay, so it makes the tokens legendary. That is actually pretty sweet. I mean, you have to have a sack outlet too. The Ward 2 is pretty cool though on a combo piece. Okay, again, it's Steam Vents and turn that into a Grixis Triome with the Urborg out. Land lets me Kroxa. Not that land though. They probably have main deck Graveyard Hate, but I think I still play this as a land. When the tokens keep dying to the legend rule. I guess you need a ETB trigger, huh? Oh, yeah, any two same name. That's fair. That's fair. Poor Athena. Poor sweet Athena hates the rain. I don't know if you guys can hear her panting. She just gets so anxious. She gets so anxious when it's raining outside. It's not even thundering and she's still just like, I know that there's gonna be thunder. Is she a rescue? Yeah, she's like a grand rescue though, where my friends took her from a bad situation, but then she didn't interact very well with their kids, so I took her. Okay, this was like the one draw that really punishes me for not pushing end of turn. But I think what I like about pushing here is that, like, presumably they're gonna double block, and then I can push one of the tokens and just kill the other. Yeah, but she was just like too hyper as a puppy for their kids, so I took her in instead of them. I got her when she was like maybe 8 or 9 months old, and she's like 5 years old now or something. But Esther gave her some anxiety medication, so she should be calming down a little bit. Just needs pets. Have any thoughts on Vivian and the Hunted Modern? That's the 6 mana one, right? I think Mingu's list is really good. I like Mingu's list. 2 Reclaimers, huh? So they're dead to a removal spell. So They don't find. Let me see what I have. If I have a removal spell on top, I might not cast the Grief. And I think that a block favors them, or an attack favors them a lot here, so I'm just going to leave this back. Yeah, the Vivian of the Hunt combo is a good deck. I think it's underrepresented, underplayed. But I love the rain because Athena. Athena is way more affectionate than she usually is during the rain. How do you feel about a double block here? How am I finding Invasive Surgery? I'm liking it a lot. I think I'll just take the hit. They're dead to removal spell if I take the hit here, presumably. Just a land. So dash Ragavan. They can block one of my creatures, take 5. They have to block the Grief, so I should be able to hit them with the Ragavan though. Yeah, but again, Invasive Surgery is like a hedge against creativity, especially good against the Persist variants, but I'm just kind of I'm finally at the point where I'm like actually choosing to sideboard for creativity rather than just like use like normal cards. Like I'm making real deck building decisions with that deck in mind now. All right, can't find a spell. Is there an audio clip that could be used to calm Athena down? No. If there was, I would be saying something to her, but she's fine. No companion. You tell me what companion I could be playing, huh? 4 Delta, 16 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, the companion is Athena. That's the best top deck. I think we're just killing Reclaimer. Probably casting the Ragavan to play around discard spells. They stopped there. We just get to stop the Saga chain. It'll be a tough game though. They could potentially tap their constructs. They know my last card's Ragavan, so yeah, they'll probably sack a land and get another Saga actually. Chainer, 17 months. Thank you. Okay, they choose not to. And I think I'm attacking for 3. I don't think I'm blocking with this Grief this turn. They're out of Sagas. I count 3 Sagas. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's one in exile. Okay. How did that get exiled? To Ragavan, I guess. Yeah, I missed that. So I don't know how much it matters how I block this turn. This is probably fine. I don't know what I'm drawing to though. I was probably supposed to leave the Grief back now that I think about it a bit more. Hard game though. Wait, sorry, I guess I just miscounted the trample damage. Yeah, I totally miscounted. Sorry. I guess that was not the block, huh? Let's bring in these dress downs. Probably at least the first Alpine Moon, maybe not both. Probably both. Seems like Saga's a huge part of their game plan. I imagine my opponent's going to have a decent amount of graveyard hate. These green-black decks usually play a ton of it, so I feel like cutting the Kroxas is fine. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't think I had a good block. I could put Ragavan in front of the 7-power one, Fury in front of the other. Maybe cut a Grief. The graveyard hate's probably not that good against Channeler specifically. Let's try this. Let's try this. I don't think I want Terminate. Maybe cut a Fury. Play 1 Terminate. Just play 3 Fury. Okay, on the play. With a solid hand, definitely going to keep this. Going to get Blood Crypt on turn 1, I think. what did I say defines a scam deck? I would say at this point the definition probably just defines red-black, a red-black mid-range, or red-black deck playing Grief Fury and an Undying Malice or Malakir Rebirth. These kind of cards that use those things. I think that at first scam probably referred to a wider range of color combination, but I think at this point the accepted definition refers mostly to the red-black decks, or red-black X. And it's definitely a fun name. Definitely a fun name, but everybody has to ask one time. Okay, with just a green source up, we should be hitting with Ragavan again. Yeah. Someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone told me that SCAM as an acronym stands for Stoneforge Card Advantage Mystic, which is very different from what it is now. Okay, not a super helpful Fatal Push, but it's fine. Never upset when your Ragavan just connects twice, especially in a matchup like this. If I preferred an extra card off the iteration, this is fine. By your definition, scams just translate to Rectos. No, I mean, Rectos is just... The scam is the Grief Fury part, right? Okay, so I'll probably just trade Undying Malice for a Construct token here. Why is Undying Malice not Undying Evil? Because Undying Evil doesn't work if you already have a +1 counter on the card. Which is bad with Ledger Shredder, bad with other copies of these. Hey Atashi, how's it going? Grief seems like an above average draw. I think I'll graveyard it so I can get Delirium though. Scam sticky creatures and Malice. Pretty good. Okay, so they're not making another construct. They are getting a Nile Spellbomb. Down to counter this, I think. Get a Surveil, don't give them info about the Malice. Dress Down's probably good enough to draw here. I don't think I want to cast the Malice. Stupid Veil of Summer. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think just trade Ragavan for Dark Confidant. Presumably. Then casting this to try to find Expressive Iteration, Ledger Shredder, another Ragavan, another Channeler seems fine also. Holding it probably doesn't... I'm probably not going to get any value off of it because they don't have another Saga in play. Is Veil underplayed? No, it's only good against like these kind of like... it's only good against decks I play. It's like... I don't think... I mean, maybe Veil is underplayed now that the Rakdos scam decks are becoming more popular. Oh, I didn't get my Surveil because of the Dress Down. But like the reality is like Veil, if anything, is over or has been overplayed for months now. Because 4-color Oddmath has like the worst sideboard in the whole format, where they're an 80-card Yorion deck that is weak to a lot of linear combo strategies, and they have only a 14-card sideboard, and they don't see their sideboard cards this often. It's just like the worst. Dude, that was a very good Witherbloom command, like the best one I've ever seen. But yet, like despite like Veil, and then they like these. The 4-color players that play 2 or 3 Veils in the sideboard, they end up making like their Murktide matchup marginally better. Murktide is still like just like their best matchup or one of their best matchups, and they lose a lot of equity that they could be having instead of playing those instead. And what's crazy is Veil's not good in the 4-color mirror, right? It's not good in the 4-color mirror, and it's you could be playing cards for the grindier matchups instead of Veil that are, you know, genuinely good, genuinely good in other matchups besides, you know, 4-color on math, but. It's a bit of a tangent, I guess. Pretty bad turn to draw a land. I think I'll fetch to then here. Okay, that's a spell, I guess. Not a particularly good one at the moment, though, unfortunately. They still have 3 cards in their hand. They still have their Nihil Spellbomb. They're super ahead here. We could maybe chain some iterations, Furies, these kind of cards together. Ragavan is good this turn. What am I hoping to hit? I don't know. Voidwalker, I guess. Push. Not another land, unfortunately. How do you beat Yawgmoth combo with the Soul Hoarder deck? Solitude Ephemerate is like involved in most of the games you beat when against him with. I beat it twice in my last RCQ. Fury would be really nice here. How about a Blackcleave Cliffs? Yeah, I don't know. Probably taking the L. How many Furies in the deck? I cited one out. Just maybe a mistake. We have, you know, 4 main, 3 main right now. Oh, right, the Voidwalker turns it off. Okay, I mean, guess that was a mistake, but I don't think it's gonna cost us. Yeah, this is like the second time we've been like, I don't know. I mean, I always play 18 lands in like the Grixis Shadow deck too, and I'm always astounded that people play 19. I feel like this happens so often. Okay, now we can't even Fury. With the iteration, and I don't even know what's into. Although we could have gotten Connive with our Undying Malice. If we still had it. How's the blue feeling? Blue's feeling really good. We're 6-2 on the day. Like, I think the blue splash is good, but like, is it the best way to build a deck? I'm not 100% sure, but it's felt really good so far. If it's not, if you don't want to consider it tier 1 right now, I think that would be somewhat reasonable, but I think that you're probably, I think we're very close to being, considering creativity just like a tier 1 deck, like one of the decks to beat. I thought about waiting a turn on the Ragavan to like have protection spell up. That seemed a little bit loosey-goosey though. Hopefully we can Fatal Push something this turn. I'm not gonna just fire off the iteration though. EE is really good at creativity. Dude, so this is a point I think that I disagree with a lot of players. People say all the time that Explosives is good against creativity. I think it's horrible against creativity. Ooh, Thoughtseize bug. Where it's just like you have to hold up mana. You have to hold up 2 mana the rest of the game. Some versions have prismatic ending, but most versions have like plenty of answers to an onboard engineered explosives, and they just don't have to go for creativity against the explosives. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so easy to play around. At least that's been my experience. I really just like, there's some decks that are okay citing it in. I can give you that, but I beyond that, I'm just like not very high on it. I think I just take both pushes here. So if they Wrenn in 6, I can just kill the Wrenn in 6 for the attack. Yeah, they play 4 Prismari Command main. It's just like... I would say it's like not one of the better sideboard cards against them. You know what I mean? I play Grixis, we have an something against it. Invasive Surgery, that's what I'm playing. Invasive Surgery is really, really good against them. I'm playing Grixis. Dude, is this the 4th iteration? They discarded 2 of them. That's kind of unreal. Can't one just counter the creativity? One what? One engineered explosives? Again, the idea is that, like, if your opponent is ever going to... If your opponent is ever going to creativity into the explosives, it's because they're just going to set up to do it again next turn. But like the fact that you have to hold up, you have to hold up 2 mana for the rest of the game is my issue with the card. I think I drowned this trying to find Delirium on the Channeler. It's very close, but also like giving them the 3rd land. Yeah, okay. They mean can't 1 as in can't you. I guess can't 1 just counter the creativity. That's the plan with the invasive surgeries. But it's also like, you know, just counter it 5-head is really not, I think, a good point either. Simply counter it. You can get 1 Terminate or 1 Fury again, makes some sense. Okay, you can keep this. Yeah, I played Invasive Surgery a few times. I've always liked it, but you know, it always somewhat competes with like the Flusterstorm and those kind of cards too. Weird hands. Just I don't want to pitch both of my Kroxas. I think I Fury. I think it's close though. Like I think you could do a lot of things here. You could just evoke Fury, then Grief, Undying Malice, the Grief. You could Grief first, see if you want to even take 2 cards. But having Kroxa against Jund is just really good. Having the double striker on turn 1 is also big game, although this is not great. Do I just attack and trade? I guess so. Iteration banned. This is modern. It's only banned in Pioneer. And it probably shouldn't be. Probably should have been Cruise instead. Okay, Kroxa is going to be a bit worse. Got 1 card in their hand. I see the new Weatherlight completed new set. I mean, that card's interesting. Yeah, I think it'll be good in specifically Anvil. Probably not like the Bombardment Sacrifice decks, though. Not with new BNR. There's a new BNR. I could not believe it if they just banned Iteration today in Modern, but we'll see, I guess. Surely if Iteration was actually banned on a BNR, the chat would be flooded already, right? Surely. Would have been good there to just trade with Scam and Grief. Trade with Scam and Grief. And I don't think so. I don't know. I liked having the creature in play there. You could maybe make an argument for doing that though. So I need to Fury both goblins here. I can't Feign Death because they have the Hearse though. So I guess I'll play the Steam Vents Return. We're in pretty bad shape though. It would be such a joke if they banned Iteration in Modern over like Omnath or Yorion, by the way. It would just be the biggest joke ever. Rin and 6, Bonnet Harvest. You ever get tired of talking about I get tired all the time of these ban conversations. It's miserable. I'm ready for the monkey to go. I don't know. I just the monkey's like not a very well designed card at all, but I at some point just like became at peace with getting hit by monkey, and I just like I'll play the Dice Factory deck and they'll hit me like 3 times. I just like stopped caring. Like I feel like getting hit by Ragavan feels worse than it actually is, if that makes sense. Is there a ban list about that? But I don't know. People have been saying all day there's a BNR, but as far as I can tell, there's not going to be one. All right, if they boarded in Hearst, maybe I just want to cut a Kroxa. What's the secret? I don't know. Just like, yeah. How do you become okay with getting hit by Ragavan? I guess beat it a lot. I guess just beat it. Listen, Ragavan's not a well-designed card. Not a well-designed card. What's my favorite salty thing to do in a paper game? I like to look my opponent in the eyes after they beat me. I like to say, good game, that was a lot of fun. Good luck to you in your next rounds. And that's about as salty as I get in a game of Magic. Good luck to you. Wish you the best of luck. This was a lot of fun. Let's do this again sometime. If you just unaccrued Hearse, yeah, it does die. It does die if you just unaccrued Hearse. All right. If I bauble myself and I see another bauble, I'll cast my Iteration. All right, just play this tapped. Oh, casting the Iteration is good against turn 2 Rin and 6 though. Maybe I should have just done that. Yeah. Realized a little too late, I guess. Probably could have tapped a little different, but then I have to shock. Ooh. This is not going as well as I had hoped. And they have a Thoughtseize for my last iteration? Gross. Yeah, just everything went wrong there. I could have played the iteration. Now they're taking my... Now they're Thoughtseizing all my iterations. Just brutal. Draw land. So if price tag appeal to psychic because it forces to run some amount of interaction. I mean, that's like not even true though. It's like I play plenty of decks like Reanimator and the Dice Factory Tron deck, or the Dice Factory combo deck, and I feel like there's like another good example, but I play plenty of decks that just like are okay with being hit by turn 1 Ragavan, and it beat Ragavan plenty anyways. You know what I mean? It's just like decks like Tron, like the all-in combo decks. Living End is a good example of a tier 1 deck that just doesn't have to have an answer for a turn 1 Ragavan. It's just you know, people say you have to play interaction, but it's like you can play a linear deck and you don't have to play interaction. If you're playing not a linear deck, you're gonna want to play interaction anyways. So I just don't see what the problem is. Just don't see what the problem is. Pretty dead there. This thing is so close. We could keep. We have Fury, Undying Evil if we miss. I'm gonna mulligan. Man issues today. I don't think that Wizards printed Urza Saga with the understanding that you get to make 2 tokens with it. That's my conspiracy theory. The third Ragavan on top. We'll probably shuffle that one. I think that they thought, like, I don't know, maybe they did realize it, but I don't think it should have been able to. I'm convinced there's a version of Ragavan in testing that it could be fine only dashing it. I mean, if Ragavan only had dash, it would be like unplayable. So Wooded Foothills, Lightning Bolts, probably creativity. Could also be like a prowess deck. I don't know what I'm putting back here. I feel like I'm gonna put back the Ragavan, and then maybe I like find a different red card and I can Fury Feign Death. Oh, sorry, I forgot to sing. Okay, I'll sing the next card. Promise. Next two. Oh, there was another one? Okay, next two. So first one, I'll be singing. Dragon Rage's Channeler! And then, I think it does make sense to go really aggressive here. Run a Olde 5. Just get the big double striker in play. Happy to find any spell for Channeler. Dingo, thanks for the raid. Doing some scamming today. I've been splashing blue in the deck and been liking. Oh, now I have to wait till the next match to sing. Okay, my opponent's playing creativity though, right? They showed us Naya Triumph, which is a little weird, but they showed us Sacred Foundry, Naya Triumph, Wooded Foothills, Rin and 6. Oh, the Drown in the Loch. Oh, right, I forgot I drew that one. For those of us just waiting on my draw step. Yeah, I should have. Rules say if you 2-3, you can't like the deck. We 4-1 the last league. I also played the last two matches really bad, which like counteracts the rules and let me like the deck more. They have to be creativity, right? Naya creativity. Thank you, Dingo. It's impossible playing the Scion of Draco deck. yeah, it'll be the Nassif trophy. I'm gonna play two. Let's play 2 Invasive Surgery, or maybe just all surgeries over the push. The push doesn't seem very good. I guess if they're somehow the domain deck, then good beats. Joey, 13 months, thank you. How good is Burn? Burn's fine. Burn's fine. Titan Creep 2 plays Night Triumph. Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Having Grief, Feign Death is really good if they are the scam deck. We can play this on turn 1. If we draw another black card, we can Grief Feign Death on turn 2. We have a Bauble as a cantrip. I think I'm going to try this. Do you think having Ledger Shredder dumping stuff in the graveyard makes Shaman viable and Pioneer? What's awkward about Ledger Shredder and Deathred Shaman is like, with Ledger Shredder, you want to be discarding spells to get counters, but if you're playing Deathred Shaman, you want to be discarding lands instead, so you can make mana. So it's just like a little bit awkward, but not the end of the world. Okay, creativity confirmed. I have a Lightning Bolt on top, which you can maybe take with the first Grief trigger. Please don't Veil of Summer me, opponent. You want to do that, little old me, would you? Oh. You know what? Let's just hold up Drown. Let's just hold up Drown. Since seeing Fable on top, they're super likely to just jam Fable this turn, right? Silex officially spoiled. Okay, I don't know what Silex is. Karn's Silex. Somebody give me the lore on what this word means. Interest tapped. Players can't pay life or to cast spells or to activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Exile it. Destroy each null and permanent with mana value X or less. Activate only as a sorcery. The thing that Urza used to blow up Dominaria. So how does Karn have one now? I need the lore stat. Okay, so they are passing. Their hand is Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Lightning Bolt Mystery card. Now I can go Grief, pitch Feign Death, and I can counter a Veil of Summer if they have a Veil of Summer. It stops fetches. A lot of stuff stops fetches. There's a lot to take in here, so let me process a little bit. Inter's tapped, so that is a huge downside when you compare this to they have 2 lightning bolts. Path to Exile. Deal. We'll take it. What's the card? The 3-mana enchantment that blows up the blows up the board. Pernicious Deed, yeah, sorry, Pernicious Deed. So like when you create this a Pernicious Deed, it enters tapped. Obviously, this is very comparable to Pernicious Deed. But this can be tutored with Karn. It has that nice static ability. Card seems very interesting. Like, seems like one of those obviously somewhat playable type of spells, but figuring out a spot that it actually belongs in is going to be tough. Second Drown does seem really good here. But I think I should just do this. And I'll cast the Ragavan where if I can get them to block the Ragavan with the crab, then like in Fury kill 2 crabs potentially, and then Ragavan's an actual threat. Although they are in like the Dorvard Mine territory of the game, so it's unlikely to be super relevant. I missed the second Seeing Request. I'm sorry, chat. It's just so hard to keep track of the Seeing Request when I have to like start a whole like another game in between requests. I just forget so quickly. I'll do my best to focus for like 2 more minutes. Then I'll block Ragavan with Dwarf Token. Maybe. Okay, this is fine. Sorry, chat. Yeah, I saw the completed Weatherlight. I liked it. Okay, I was seeing for sure, for real this time. Undying Malice! Undying Malice! Okay, iteration. Hand Invasive Surgery, bottom, exile. Thoughtseize them. Next turn, Harkest Fury, hold up Surgery potentially. Surprised they didn't just jam. I mean, it's kind of obvious I have counter spells, but like I'm also a Grief deck, I'm a Discard deck, probably just want to be jamming. Seems worth countering, because I have another counter spell in the hand. And what's nice is like once I Invasive Surgery their creativities, or in theory get Invasive Surgery their creativities, whatever, I won't need to like be holding up counter spells the rest of the game. I think I'll kill a crab and Dwarf Token.
Oh, does not like this bed.
No, she hates it.
She's not even getting in my bed.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she just wants to be on the floor. She's sleeping though. She's still sleeping.
No, she's just right there.
She's fine.
Right next to your wheel.
Yeah, I'll try not to roll her over.
Mm-hmm. It's not as rainy now though, so I think it's gonna be better. It's really only supposed to be like super rainy today, and then the rest of the week is gonna be like spotty and probably not even rain. It's mostly partly cloudy. So we're getting all the rain today.
Yeah, this card turns off fetch lands, which is pretty cool. Oh, they were not supposed to fetch a Triumph there, right? You're supposed to let yourself be able to top deck a creativity. Remember when we kept this hand as a one-lander? So they're gonna go Ragavan, or block Ragavan probably. Why not more Malakir Rebirth? This is an we've said this a bunch, but this is an expressive iteration deck. Malakir Rebirth is much worse when you're trying to support a blue-red spell. Like, you just don't want to be playing this as a land early anymore. Like, I love Malakir Rebirth. I usually rate it higher than the other ones, but because of the mana requirements, this one, it loses a lot of stock. So they can't kill this with a Valakut this turn. They can go Valakut Mountain if they want. They can go Valakut if they want. They do go Valakut, which will make things much harder. But at least I have Feign Death, so if they don't draw a Mountain this turn, maybe you can just win. Oh, my opponent also misclicked on their block. Okay. Well, that was... an anticlimactic end, huh? We did it, we 3-2'd, but it was the Nassif 5-0. I do think both the games we lost, like, were very winnable if I had played differently. Lost to Green Black Rock and then Jund Saga. Could do a new league outcome. 7-3 on the day.